no Battlefield news, by the way. I was just joking to get you upset.
I had a feeling.
It was pretty, I had a pretty good time.
You okay?
I just had a pretty good time is all I'm saying. The things I want to talk about, I got NBA 2K22.
I saw.
I'm going to complain a little bit about it. Doesn't make sense. Some of the things he did. Other things, it's good. So I didn't play 2K21 on the next gen version. So this is 2 years. So I haven't played. I have 22. I skipped 21. I'm playing 22, and a lot of it's way different, which is good. There are a few other things. There's the Insomniac Wolverine news. There's an article about it, about a tweet. There's a Tomb Raider animated series voiced by Haley Atwell, Agent Carter from Marvel says. Okay. I want to see what you thought of the Thor Ragnarok gameplay trailer. And it's interesting because...
Wait, I didn't see it.
You didn't see the gameplay for God of War?
You said Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, sorry. Not Thor. Sorry. I was just looking at an article that said Thor.
It's like Thor.
What? That was already a movie that already happened. You okay?
Game yet?
I'm a lot. This is 2016, and Thor Ragnarok's coming out soon. No, God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
You saw the gameplay trailer, obviously. At the end credits, it said Marvel.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I noticed Sony
that. I was
Marvel.
like, why does it say Marvel? What?
So I don't know if does Marvel own Thor, but that's like a Norse you can't own mythology characters.
No. So I don't know. No idea. I wonder if anyone else is talking about that. I
don't know, unless it's based off of like a Marvel version of Thor, which I know Sony and Marvel have, as far as the movies, collaborate because Sony owns Spider-Man, or the movie rights to Spider-Man anyway. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that is weird.
So I was like, well, why does that have to? You can't just make Thor it's kind of like all of the the Greek gods and all that. No one owns them.
Yeah,
you can't. No one that's like if somebody owned the rights to Jesus and they're the only ones who can. It doesn't make that's
Christians just come out. All right, so we bought the rights to Jesus Christ.
It's just so you know.
If you want to talk about Jesus, you got to be Christian, all right?
That's so weird. I was just like, you can't own...
Wouldn't doubt it.
That's like owning a fairy tale or something that was... I don't know. I'm sure there's other examples than, religion, but people used to pray to Thor. So it's kind of the same thing. 343's multiplayer, or a flight, a beta. I'm going to call it a beta. I'm not calling things flights. It's not a flight. I don't understand these new words. It's like how NBA 2K, the owner's called governor now, which doesn't make any sense. And then what's funny is it's in the because when you go to, because you can control the whole franchise, you can become the owner, but you're not really the owner. So you run the team, and it breaks down like owner, general manager, head coach, assistant coach, all these different things, and it says governor where it used to say owner. So I'm like, okay, so they got rid of the word owner throughout the whole thing. But then when you play my player, when you're just the player, you're talking to people, and he's like, well, you can go straight to the owner. They have it in a cutscene that says owner. So which one is it? So which one is it, owner or governor? Because that's confusing.
Bitches, you racists.
Yeah, so it's unbelievable. Because what's interesting is you can hire agents in the game. What?
So they admit that the NBA is more predominantly black. You understand that? They're subconsciously admitting we should probably not have the word owner because it's predominantly black.
But that's not an excuse to change the word owner, because the only racial context to it. Like, you can't own people. It's like they're not saying you own people. They own the team. They own the rights to the team. You can't use a Chicago Bulls logo without the express written consent of the NBA owners. Of the owners
it's either the 13th or 15th Amendment that says they basically abolished slavery.
Like you can't. They're not. It's like, well, we signed. It's like we signed a contract, so I'm a slave to this team for the next 4 years. No, you're not. You willingly signed the contract, and if you don't like the
millions of dollars,
that's hundreds of millions of dollars in some cases, and I don't feel sorry for you at all. You can't. It's like when NFL, like the NFL is different because the NFL can sign you to a contract and then just get rid of the contract. And it doesn't cost the team anything at all. There's like only part of the contract is guaranteed. So when you read these articles, it's like Patrick Mahomes signed a $250 million. He's not actually getting all of that money, and he will never. He might get $250 million over the course, but that's not guaranteed money. It's guaranteed for like the first year or two or three or whatever, and then later, they can restructure the deal. They can go to the player and say, hey, we're running out of cap space. We need more money to sign the other players. Do you mind taking a little bit less, restructuring your whole deal? And if you say no, then they can just get rid of you. It's crazy. But in basketball, it's fully guaranteed. LeBron James signs $200 million. No matter what unless he retires, he's getting paid all of that. He can sit on the bench and say he's hurt for the next however many years is on his contract, and he'll get paid that money. And same thing with baseball. So I'm like, for you guys, I don't feel football. You guys can have a owner mentality. You guys can say they treat us, poor. You can say that because that's actually true. They chew you up and spit you out in the NFL. But basketball and baseball players, they have no right to say, oh, we're treated. No, you're not. You willingly signed the contract. You're not a slave. You're not anything. It's like shush. And the word owner has no racial context to it. None at all.
Yeah, no.
So but anyway, I don't start talking about that. There was something. Knights of the Old Republic is getting a remake, not a remaster.
Yeah,
so
remake.
They're remaking the game from the ground up, which is exciting. The unfortunate
part is... And they started with that.
Yeah, I know. That Sony thing is. Alan Wake remastered.
Uh-huh.
It's getting a release date. This is interesting. So Titanfall 2 that's been out for years, right? Yeah. Titanfall 2 reportedly has major hacking vulnerability, Respawn investigating. So the game has been out for, and this is the interesting thing about games is I think it evolves. Like as you update the game, you patch the game, I think that can make vulnerabilities. I don't understand how that is. But
yeah, no, it's weird.
Which is kind of interesting. There's a billionaire and former Walmart executive, Mark Lohr, has shared his vision for a new city in America that will cost $400 billion to build. So it says billionaire wants to build a real life Rapture in the desert. And I was like, it's like Rapture is underwater. What are you talking about? I don't understand. And it's like, but it's the same idea. So I'm like, so it's not Rapture. You just wanted to, you
just wanted it to sound cool.
You just wanted to put this on a video game website. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then Halo, they took in Halo Infinite, the earlier beta. Yeah. They took some feedback about the motion sensor, and they're going to make it more like the other Halos. They're going to go back to the other Halos.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember anything, but it's like the combat sensor or radar that sits on the bottom left of your HUD follows a different set of rules in previous Halo titles. We knew this implementation was going to feel different, maybe even a little contentious. I think that's contentious. I don't know. That we wanted to get feedback as soon as possible in the tech preview. I guess you can call it that. That's fine.
Yeah.
We've updated the compact sensors feel like the motion tracker of old, which shows all movement besides crouch walking, and should have. Because I think you could like walk slowly. You can stand upright and walk slowly, and the radar wouldn't pick you up. I think that's what it was. I have to. We'll read more if we run out.
Well, you can sign, dude. You can sign up for Halo Insider, and you'll probably get an invite to the beta next weekend.
I don't want to.
Why don't you want to do that?
I don't want to. I don't know. I'm good. I'm good. I got my.
Can
2K.
Somebody else play a different fucking game with me other than Sea of Thieves and fucking Fortnite, please? Jesus Christ! I can't get anyone to play Battlefield with me. I can't even get anyone to play Apex with me. I probably won't be able to get anyone to play Battlefield 2042 with me. I hate everyone.
You okay? You're going through some...
No.
Like, I just saw you this weekend. You need me to hang out with you more? I don't know what...
No, I want to play fucking other games. Because Dylan's jerking off to Fortnite again.
Quit acting like you play Sea of Thieves with me a lot. You played like a month or two ago. So stop. So it's quiet.
Yeah,
and you played for an hour and a half.
Other games. I want to play.
That's fine. You can play other. We can play other games. That's fine. But like I'm not. I got Halo Master Chief Collection booted up right now. I got it booted. We can play that if you want to.
So you have the chance to play the new Halo, and you don't want to do that.
No, because I want, like, when the game comes out, I want it to be. I don't want right now. Plus, I have to beat A Plague's Tale, which I'm almost done with.
First of all, you don't have to beat. You don't need to beat any of those games.
I do have. Yeah. Well, when I start a game and I like it, I enjoy it, and it's not that long. I want to complete it, so I know what the hell I'm talking about when I talk about video games.
That's next weekend. The Halo thing is next weekend, so you have
okay,
time.
That's fine. Well, yeah, I know I have time, and I don't play. Like I've been, because I enjoy the NBA 2K, but I'm gonna get into the NBA 2K thing here in a second. And then, is there anything
you wanted to play the beta for Battlefield?
You wanted to talk about specifically? Anything you saw? What? But you won't play?
You're not gonna play the Battlefield 2042 beta, the open beta?
I'll play that with you. I'll play that with you. That's like your game, your favorite thing. I'll play it with you. Yeah. If it's easy to sign up for, I don't want to go to Halo Insiders.
An open beta. You just download it.
Yeah, no. Okay, that's what I said. I'll do it. I said I'll do it. It's fine.
Well, we'll see when it releases. Because like I said, it's apparently a credible leaker, Battlefield Insider, whatever. Tom Henderson. He as I said, he said it. It's coming out on the 22nd, but if that's true, why hasn't DICE come out and said, yeah, that's true? It's a simple tweet. Just go on Twitter. Yep, what he said is true. It's coming out the 22nd.
22nd. Which is it's a Wednesday.
I know.
That's a weird day to start a beta.
Yeah,
I thought you'd want to do it over the weekend.
Yeah, so what's weird, and it's supposed to be for a week.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it covers the weekend. That makes more sense. Yeah. Okay.
But see, that same weekend is also the Halo beta.
Oh, that's not very good. I thought you said Halo's this weekend.
No, it's next. I said next weekend.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So okay.
You just read it though.
I'll never. Well, I didn't say what day it was. I didn't read that part. But this weekend and next weekend is something I will never understand.
Yeah.
With people, it's like this week. This like next weekend.
Well, because this weekend is part of the week because there's 7 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, not this weekend, but next weekend. Yeah, for some reason in my head, when people say next weekend, like that means like the next one coming up, like the one we had, and then the next one, which will be this weekend. So in my head, my dumb head, I always think next weekend is it, but in everyone else's head, it's like not this weekend, but the following weekend. So I'm like, well, then say the following week, don't. It's confusing. But anyway, that's just my stupidity.
Well, that's why what I do is I say this coming weekend.
Yeah, I'll say this weekend. And then when I in my head, next weekend is the following weekend. And I know that's not socially correct or socially accepted. So I have to say not this weekend, but next weekend.
No, next weekend means next weekend. To me, at least.
Like this one coming up?
Not this one coming up.
But next weekend.
The next weekend, the 24th, 23rd, 24th weekend.
Yeah. So if you had plans for the closest weekend for right now for us,
to be this weekend. So
when you say this weekend, you say this weekend?
This weekend coming up, the closest weekend to us.
But there are people who say next weekend and they mean this weekend, like the next one coming up.
No, see, that doesn't make any sense.
I know. That's my whole point. So I think we agree. I thought we disagreed on this. Because there's been times where we've made plans and you were like next weekend.
And then you thought I meant the weekend after.
Yeah, I think. I'm not too sure. I have to go back. And another thing. Oh, another little social weirdness. I was buying tickets to go see Tim Dillon. He's a stand-up comedian. Me and Corey are going to go see Ryan Sickler. And Tim Dillon in December. And I don't know if Tim Dillon might not be her style of comedian. So like if you want to, I want to show her his stand up and see if she thinks it's funny. And then if she doesn't want to go, I want to invite you. It's December 4th. It's a Saturday. It's the Late Show, the 9:30 Late Show. And if you ever go see a stand up comedian that you really like, you go see the Late Show because sometimes they can run long. If you really like the comedian, sometimes they'll do more than an hour. They'll do like 45 hour on the early show. But they have to get it over with so they can do they can't go long the first show, and then that pushes back to the second show. So just a little tip. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I was buying the tickets online, and so I was buying them, and then it said tip. It said percentage tip, and it was like 20, 25, 30% tip. It was like help out the comedy club or whatever, and I'm like, a tip? You do tip for service. You don't tip like prematurely.
Yeah, it's weird.
Before like
what if you don't like the show? What if the show's not good?
Well, even then, like you don't tip for the show. It's not like I go up to the comedian and give him $20. I'm tipping for the waitresses and waiters. That's who I'm tipping, and that is based off of their service. So if they treat me like shit, I'm not going to tip at all. And then a tip is technically, it used to be for outstanding service. And now it's just for like service that's not terrible. Service that you don't notice it. Like if you don't notice the server at all, you're like, hey, it was good service. They gave me refills or whatever when I wanted some. I didn't think of the server. They didn't stand out. Here's 15 to 20% extra. No problem. But the tip before the service.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know if I want to live in a world where we tip before. That's why we don't pay for food prior to the meal, because what if the meal sucks? Like, I'm not paying for this shitty meal. Like, this is terrible. This is cold. My eggs are cold. What's going on here? So how do you feel about the tip before the service?
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe I wonder if that's just like a San Diego thing. I don't know.
If you can do like a donation, like if they're hurting for money,
donation. That's
a donation is different. It's not a tip.
Yeah, that's different. That's not a tip. But no, that reminded me. I remember I went to Red Rock. This was a while ago. It was like a couple months ago. I think this was before the announcement of Battlefield 2042. But I went to Red Robin. Dude, my server, not once the entire time I was there, not once did he ever ask how I was doing. He's like, hey, how you eat? Not once. I had gotten water, and he didn't refill it.
But you ordered a meal and everything?
Yeah, I ordered a meal. Or I just ordered a burger, and he didn't once come up to me, hey, how you doing? Not once. Dude, I didn't leave a tip. I left a horrible review. Like, because at Red Robin you have the little where you pay your bill and the little
put
thing.
That person's name down.
I put that. I was like,
that their only job. It's look. I don't want immaculate service. I don't need to be babied and all this stuff.
But their job
but
is hard.
So normally they refill like once or twice, like on normal tables. And I tell them, I tell them I don't go out a lot. I love Arnold Palmer's. I want as many refills as humanly possible. And if you don't want to keep coming back, I was like, people bring me like a picture of an Arnold Palmer. And then that way you don't have to deal with me anymore. I'm out of your hair. You won't hear from me if you give me a picture of Arnold Palmer. I'll drink the whole damn thing right now. So last time I went to IHOP, I don't go out very much. Last time I went to IHOP with Corey and some friends. She's like, oh, okay. Oh yeah. And just dumped a whole picture, just boom. And I was like, I gave her $20 in a tip. I was like, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Yeah. That's all I want. When I go out, I want to have what I want. I want my food to be hot, and I want a whole bunch of refills. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's actually I just went recently. It was that morning that I texted you and I was like, hey, thanks for being my friend and all that, whatever.
Weirdo.
It was weird. Like I fell asleep on my couch. It was Saturday into Sunday morning, I think. Yeah, that's what it was. But I fell asleep on my couch for like an hour or two, and I woke up at like 3, and I was really hungry, and I was like, because remember I told you I'm doing that intermittent fasting. I was like, I don't want to eat right now, so I was like, hey, fuck it, I'll just go work out. So I got up and went to the gym, and then after that, it was like
it's
around
open
like
24 hours.
Yeah, the gym that I go to, it's open.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's real nice. And then, but by the time I got out, by the time I got out of the gym and then got over to, because it's about 20 minutes, maybe 25. By the time I got out of the gym over to Denny's, it was about 5 o'clock. So I was like, oh, this is a good time to eat. So I ate, and I ordered, like, they have, like, their fit meal, whatever. Like, it's actually really good, because, you know, you put spinach in your eggs or whatever. They did that. They do that there, too, at the Denny's. But I know the waitress there, she's, her name's Sonia. She's cool. You know, she's not super old. She's like, I think she's like in her maybe her mid to late 40s, Sonia. But I had a cup of coffee, and she brought she's like, she was on it. You know, they were a little busy, but not like crazy. Yeah. But she was on it. And then she also said that apparently there was like a homecoming dance or whatever, or something like that for one of the high schools out here. And she said that they went to Denny's, and like there's a couple girls that were treating her like shit, like screaming at her. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Screaming at you? She's like, yeah, they were screaming. I was like, what? So, but
what'd you do, Sonia? What'd you do?
Well, and then it was funny too, because she was cleaning up like the table that they were at, and she ended up dropping a glass. And she had told me previously that she gets off at 6, and it was like 5:05 or whatever. And I was like, you only have 1 more hour, don't worry, it's all right. And then when I was done with my meal, I gave her a $20 tip, because she's good. She gives good service too.
Yeah, we'll pay. Yeah, people will pay for good service, and not even like good, just like expected service. Like, I don't need you to wait on me hand and foot, come back to the table every minute. Like, but just you look at the table, see, is my Arnold Palmer at the bottom?
Yeah.
Would you like another one? That's it. No, yeah, like, no, thank you, I'm good. And then you never need to check on me.
Yeah, exactly. But what I like too about Sonia, she'll talk to me like normal. She'll be like, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, like, and she'll like,
yeah, like a normal human being.
Yeah, she'll talk. Yeah, she doesn't, you know, she's not overly. So, but yeah, so I understood. But yeah, but see, that's good service, and that's not. And Denny's, man, or a Red Robin, that was so bad.
Yeah, I get terrible service from guys, and that's why when I go out, I won't. Like when we went out,
and he was a guy,
and that one guy was, I was like, oh god, I was like, guys, I for some reason I never get good service. I was like, dude, go to a table full of girls, and go serve them, please. Can I get a female waitress? For some reason,
maybe because women are better caregivers. I don't know, and that's technically.
I don't even know if that's it. It's just they seem to care more, or at least appear more, as far as being helpful. Like I don't think I've had a few good males, sir. I remember one good when I was little. I was like 10 years old, and we went to some. I still remember
so
this guy.
Long ago.
This guy was awesome. He did tricks. I think that's why I remember him. He did Twix. I love Twix, the candy bar. I love it. He did tricks with the what are they called? Yeah,
the tray.
Not the tray. The tray. Like whatever came up, gave us the plates, and then like he would spin the tray like on the thing and like keep it going, and then like do all this weird shit with it. It was like, I don't know. It was like a street ball basketball play. I don't know what he did, but I remember it. And then he did like some kind of magic tricks a little bit. Like there were multiple, it was like a family thing. There was like 20, we had like a party of like 20 or whatever. He was working his ass off, and he got hundreds of dollars worth of tips at that table because everyone loved him and chipped in. I remember that guy. I do not remember any other male servers in my entire life being good. Any other, besides like a bartender, besides like sitting at a bar and a guy going, hey, what you want? And then just being good. Other than that, the ones that come to the table, I remember Benji still talks about this. Remember when he talks about the guy, he put his hands in my fries?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he won't shut up. He always remember that. This waiter, I ordered fries. They weren't hot. They were like room temperature. And I said, these fries aren't hot. And he looks at me, and then he looked at the fry, and then puts his back of his hand in the fries, just like that, right in front of me. Like I'm a liar. Like I'm lying. Like this is what I like to do. I like to go out, order French fries, not eat them, and then say that they're cold. Like what? And I was like, I'm never like and then it was at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh man, I bet, but Benji was fucking dying.
He was right in front of the dude's face. We were laughing. We're like, what are you doing? What is this or whatever?
Dude, you could have got him fired for that. You understand that? He could have been.
Oh, I don't want to ruin the man's life. Maybe he had like a bad day or whatever. It's not acceptable. It's not. I don't know if it's a fireable offense, but he didn't go like bitch, what are you talking about? And put his hand in his front. But he was just like that. It's like, first of all, that's not the most sensitive part of your hand. That's like the roughest part of your hand. When you test the milk, you put it on your wrist right here. You don't, what? You put the back of your hand. It doesn't make any sense.
Any part of his hands, like how do we know he washes hands?
But even I'm not eating the fries regardless. That's not. He could put his dick in the fries. It doesn't matter. I'd love to see that. But no,
dick fries, cheese on it.
You should have told me earlier. I would have put the whole thing in my mouth. But no, like it just like the audacity or the fact that he didn't like me or something along those lines. I don't know what it is, but I did. But another good. There was a friend of mine, Sean, Sweaty Sean. We call him Sweaty Sean. There was two.
I remember hearing about him.
Yeah, there was two Seans. There was Sean and then Sweaty Sean. And he was a server. And whenever we got him, he was really good. I remember him being a good server, but I don't know if that was because we were friends. We knew each other. So I don't know if that was. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure he was just a good server, just regardless. But he was the only other male server waiter.
If I was a server, I'd be good to you.
I'd be, oh yeah. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so everybody, welcome to the Video Games and Nonsense podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chase. Hey, that's fine. This is the thing. Video Games and Nonsense podcast, where we talk about video games and nonsense and what we've been playing lately. Normally I ask Ray what he's been playing, but I don't care. I have to talk about
that
NBA. I have to talk about NBA 2K22. I want to talk about the things I like about it and the things I dislike about it. It's going to be real quick, about 5 or 10 minutes. I haven't played NBA 2K since NBA 2K20 on the Xbox One console. So I skipped 21, and now I have 22. I love the defense feels a lot more realistic. It's right. It's in your face. Before, if anyone was near you, Ray, it would be a contested jump shot, which would lower your chances of making it. You had to be wide open. And that's not basketball. A lot of players can shoot really good if they're right up on you. Like,
it's really weird.
Certain players. Yeah.
See, that's why that right there, like if I were to ever get into NBA, that right there, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not gonna deal with that.
It's by far one of the most annoying things. Like I would beat my defender and he'd be behind me, standing up, just like standing, but he'd be not like within the arm's reach of right behind, like chasing me, and I would shoot a jump shot and it would say like 68% contested. And yeah. It's so in 68%, you hardly ever make a shot. And the guy's hand wasn't up. It's not like he was reaching over like in my shooting area. He was just standing there like this. And for some reason, his presence, like I guess the presence is like in a like a circular area around your player.
I never ever thought to fix that.
But apparently they did. But instead of putting it in a patch, they had to make a whole new game for it. So I don't know how the game is designed. I don't want to. Whatever.
There's no excuse for that. Not one excuse
I don't know.
for that.
I don't know. I'm not a video game developer, but so that's relatively fixed. But now the defense is like glued to you basically, and that's a lot better because now you can do that to people. So before you would get like these blow by animations if they had a good dribble. If their dribble was high, if they were quick, they would just like go directly into you, and they would get an animation that goes right by you that you can't really control. That would happen continuously over and over and over. Now, even if you have a low rating and they drive directly into you, you bump them. Okay. So you have to take angles around people. So you have to go around and like
you actually have to do shit.
Yeah. Because in basketball, you have to get like your feet or your shoulder. Like across like a certain plane of their body, and then you can usually go up without being contested too much and get like a good shot off or whatever. It's unless they're directly in front of you. So it's a lot more realistic. It's fun. The thing is you play your My Career. You start out in college. You have the chance. You have a high school. You're like a YouTube high school star. You're not like a YouTube celebrity, but you're a high school player. You don't play any of this. You don't play a single high school game, which you used to, and I would like that. I don't know why every year we don't have like 4 high school games, like a high school regular season game and then a high school tournament, win the tournament. You pick your college, okay, or you can choose to go right to the NBA or the G League, whatever. But it doesn't make any sense. Like just put the thing that was in last year's game in this year's game. You have it. You have the assets, but just put it in instead of taking it out and then we have high school this year and then putting it back in the game. But whatever. So you're a YouTube high school star. You go to college. You have the right to go to college. You go to college. The first game you play is in basically the NCAA tournament. So the first game you play, if you lose, you don't play any more college games. So instead, you don't have a practice. You don't have anything at all. You can't test out your jump shot. You can't go into like a practice. You can go into a practice mode, but it's with NBA players, not your player. Can't do any of this. And I also I cannot look at my teammates' stats and find out what they're good at. So I have no idea if I pass to somebody, if they're good at shooting mid-range, if the 3 ball is on one guy. That's the only thing I can do. I don't know if a guy is good at setting screens, if he rolls to the basket, if he's like a pick and popper. I have no idea. I have zero clue because they throw you into it. And I lost my first game and then that was it. Why can't I have like 2 season games to learn my team?
It's really weird.
It's dumb. It was 5 minutes. I played it and instantly I was like, why didn't anyone, no feedback? Nobody played this game. Nobody played this and had this concern with it. I don't understand what they're thinking or because college is a huge part of a player's, like, especially a player like I'm not in the game. You're not a superstar. You're a low level person. So like, and then I didn't have the option to go back to college, which is something that the other game did. Last year's game, I heard you can go back to college for a second year. I don't know if you can go 3rd or 4th year or whatever. But if I want to go back to college because I didn't win the championship, I should be able to go back to college. Why can't I have that option? That's an option in real life that I don't have in the game, but this game is supposed to be like a real life simulation, whatever. And then you'll love this. They have anytime you load in to the city, like they have a city you load into, you have an apartment in the city, blah blah blah, whatever. Anytime you load into the city, there's this PA announcer in the city that says this: Season 1 has started. Reminder: 6 weeks left in the because they have seasons now that you earn and unlock shit.
Yeah.
In
season
the
passes,
whatever. Yeah. It's not like a season pass, but it's just like limited edition, limited time, exclusive, whatever. And I'm just sitting there, like every time you load into it, every single time you leave your apartment, this is a reminder. And then a splash screen covers you load into the city, you see your character, and then the screen comes up and it covers the whole thing. I can't control anything. I can't skip it. It's like 4 to 5 seconds. It says, reminder, wear 2K gear for 2 times XP. Almost every single time. I think I'm only a handful of times it hadn't shown up. And I'm just sitting here. Why am I sitting through a loading screen? Okay. To get to basically another loading screen. Put the 2K thing in the loading screen. I'm losing my mind. At first I was like, oh, that's helpful. I thought it was just once. Just once. Oh, that's a friendly reminder. Thank you. Dismiss. I couldn't dismiss it. That's weird. Shows up all the time. I'm just like, who is playtesting these games? I don't understand the decisions that are made. And then there's one other real small nitpick thing. The play calling system. So what you do is you pick a player you want to call a play for. And then this little box on the screen, the corner of the screen shows up, and it shows a list of 4 plays, and you can right trigger tab through the different pages, and you can basically have endless pages. And then to select the play you wanted, it'd be either X, Y, B, or A because there's 4. Okay. And it would be real quick. So all you have to do is select the player that you want to run the play for, whatever, a 3-point play, an isolation play, whatever. And then you can just tab through and then press one of the face buttons. But now you have to do the player thing, bring it up. Now you have to scroll. And the only way you have to press down on the D-pad. So you have to tab over. And then if you want the bottom one, you can't just select it. You have to down, A. It's slower than the other. And you only have you have a 24-second shot clock. So if I want to run a quick play, I can't do that. I have to because as you're coming up the court, you're supposed to select a play if you want to run a play. So that 4 seconds, it takes to walk the ball up usually, you're selecting the play, you run it, whatever. And I asked one of the developers, I follow him on Twitter, and he was like, I don't have a control over the menu. I just have control over gameplay and like how he does AI, how the AI should react. He's like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
What happened. I'm not a part of that. And I was like, could you ask? Like, I know he has a whole bunch of other shit that he has to do. Yeah. So like, but I'm just like, in my head, I'm thinking, when you have to play test the game and to run the plays. Like that's his part. Like his job is to make sure the plays run correctly, the defensive AI acts accordingly, and as he's picking these, but on current gen, on the old system, it's the other way. It's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why it's this, because I watched like just Xbox One version of 2K, and it's the old way of doing it. And then I'm like, but why couldn't you just import that way of doing it? I don't understand the two different, because it's next gen, you have to change it. But anyway, that's my little rant. It's a good game. It's fun. There's just a few things I'm losing my mind about.
Well, no, it's almost like a different developer needs to take the NBA series and just make it right.
Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying there are these little. The game is good. I don't like the city. The city's a huge, sprawling city, and you have these quests. It's like go to this person and talk to him, and you have to skateboard through this big city. So most of your playing time is not playing the game. It's skateboarding through a city to go talk to your agent, who's, by the way, like on the other side, your apartment's on, at least my apartment's on the east coast of the city, east side of the city. I have to travel all the way to the west side. And it takes them like 2 minutes to get over there. And I'm just skating, just holding down the right trigger and then tapping right or left as I navigate the city. I'm like, this isn't, and I'm on a skateboard. This isn't Tony Hawk. Like, and it's not even a good skateboard experience. If they put like the Tony Hawk shit in,
why are you a skateboarder?
You're not a skateboarder. It's just you can run, but it's slow. So you have to. Then you get a bike later, which is like 75,000 VC. You can't even earn a bike. You have to pay VC, virtual currency, which you earn from playing the game, or you could buy the packs online, whatever. It's a way to make more money. It's understandable. Whatever. And then you get a bike. You get a bike, and then the final reward for the season pass is a go-kart. So
not a car. Okay.
Yeah, go-kart. Well, like they're not streets. It's like a walkway. It's like a walkable city.
It's weird.
But before the last gen or the 2K20, it was basically like a block. It was like a square. The city was, and everything was relatively close. It was fine. You didn't need, but now they made it so much bigger. You need transportation to get around quicker.
It's funny how you're talking about.
It's a basketball game. It's a basketball game.
I know. Yeah, that's where I'm like, skateboarding and what? But I saw this on. I was on Reddit, just trying to find any other information. See if there's any more information about the beta or when it's going to be the official release date.
For Battlefield.
I found this. Yeah, Battlefield. Well, okay. It's not about Battlefield. It's not. I just saw this now. This this. I don't know if this is technically from an actual game developer. But the title of it says, it's usually management/publisher that ruins games, not the devs. It says, in parentheses, dev here, most people I work with work hard and care a lot about our end product, how our end product turns out. Those design decisions that players hate are driven by executives, marketing, or even influencers. Those bugs you wonder how no one saw before launch? Probably because a feature was rushed too late to test after protests from the engineers that totally saw the problems coming but got overruled. It's frustrating and demoralizing every time I see a player complain about a feature I worked on for reasons I saw coming months ago, but didn't have the authority to prevent. Devs aren't lazy, we try our best, and most of us aren't any happier about an unfinished release than you are.
Yes, but that also is, I don't like people going, it's not our fault.
Well, no, I don't think that's what he's saying specifically. I think he's kind of pointing the light towards it's. He says it's usually management / the publisher that ruins the games. Usually,
I mean, obviously it'd have to be management because they're the ones making the decisions about the game. It's like the lead designer or lead gameplay designer or whatever. They have like a vision of how the game should feel. Like, well, the game should act like it's like a director making a Marvel movie. Like, it'd be cool if Thanos did this, and then the visual effects artists have to go, we have to figure that out. How do we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then if it's like a bad idea, then it's like whose fault? It's not whose fault is it? The director who had the idea that made an impossible request, or the visual effects artist who didn't know how to do it properly? So
well, no. What that's saying though is it's what he's saying though is, or who he or she, what they're saying is, he's basically talking about the bugs.
Yeah.
In the game. So like in what they're saying is, if you see a bug that's in a game, trust me, we tried to work on it, but management pushed through regardless.
Yeah. Well, because there comes a point where you have to get the game out because it's a business and you have to make money. It's just like people thought, it's funny that when people shit on Cyberpunk for having all of the issues or whatever, that game made money its first weekend. It made all of its money back for development and so the longer it goes on, it's just making more and more money. Now, granted, it would have made a lot more money if it was better. And then also now the DLC, well, people trust the DLC, but if it comes out and it's good, then will people forget about it?
Well, I mean, of course of course the game's gonna make when it first comes out. Of course, it's gonna make money. People don't know how the game really is.
Well, not all games make their money back. Some games don't. But this had so much hype around it. But even the game cost, I think like 200 million or something like that, some crazy amount, some over like I believe 200 million. And it made everyone money. But then does that affect the next game's earnings? Will people be as hyped for their next project? I don't know, but usually gamers will say, "Oh, I'll never play this game again," blah 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 blah, but then they go out and buy the game anyway. So,
well, I know that
it's
was
like Madden. People complain about Call of Duty, Madden every year, but like say if a hardcore gamer buys a whole bunch of games and then enjoys Madden, and then it hasn't changed in years and years and years, they still have the same issues. But the guy who buys a game console for Call of Duty, Madden, and let's say Fortnite or whatever, and that's all he plays on. There's so many more of them than there are the hardcore that it doesn't matter. The company's making more money. So they're going to keep making games for those players who just like to play. Like, this is my thing. This is what I do. I play these games instead of trying out a whole bunch of different other games. So it's kind of interesting, the business strategy.
But yeah, so this right here, when was this? This was released September 2nd. Post by Andy Robinson. Battlefield 2042 beta release date set for September. It's claimed. And this just goes on. That's according to information shared by both credible leaker Tom Henderson and GamesBeat journalist Jeff Grubb. Grubb said during a giant bomb show on Thursday that he had corroborated the date shared by Henderson with his own sources. This is something I originally heard from Tom Henderson, who's a very good Battlefield leaker, and then I was able to confirm it separately. Grubb said on Wednesday, an Italian retailer claimed that the Battlefield beta would take place next week. However, the latest reporting appears to debunk that particular listing. See, so and then there's a bunch of stuff, and I don't. And then they said that they talked about they're like, oh yeah, later on with gameplay reveal and all that. I think it was Battlefield Portal when they showed that. They said that later this year they're going to show, or they're going to talk more about and show Hazard Zone. And we're a little over a week from the beta. So when are they going to show? It's got to be this week sometime about Hazard Zone.
When does the game come out?
Well, so for me, since I pre-ordered the $90 version, the game comes out October 15th.
15th, so it's a month away basically. It's 4 weeks away.
And we still have no information. Listen, we still have no information about the destruction in the game.
Which is the reason people play Battlefield over.
Which is yeah. And every other Battlefield, they have basically led with the destruction. Battlefield 4, remember Battlefield 4?
Maybe it's not as good as people imagine.
No, what it probably is probably the fucking destruction is. They probably reverted back to Battlefield 3. I guarantee you that's why they haven't even mentioned. And any of the reveals haven't even mentioned destruction.
Well, that one person said you can basically bring that whole place to the ground. Remember that, like that small village area?
Yeah, he said it's completely destructible. But I mean, what the fuck does that mean when it comes to dice? They don't.
Like completely destructible means like you can.
Oh, completely destructible. You can take out the walls.
Just
go fuck yourself, idiot.
Just bring building down like you used to be able to. When does it come out for normal people who don't spend $90?
October 22nd.
So a week, so you get it a week early. Okay, that's interesting. I would yeah, because if it's a week away, if it's the 22nd, but they always announce. Usually, I don't know. Betas, it's like it'll be this weekend.
No. Call of Duty with AAA games like Battlefield, Call of Duty. We knew the dates like last month.
It's interesting.
I mean,
I don't know.
So this is where I'm like, so okay, I'm looking at the calendar right now. If it's true, so my thought process is because since if you pre-order the Battlefield, you get early access to the beta. So I'm guessing that the early access is the 22nd of September, and then the actual beta is on the 24th. Because unless I don't know, they could even release it like the 30th or the 1st of October, because I don't fucking know. But then it's technically not a beta; it's a demo because it's so close to release. So if it's still true that the beta for Battlefield is going to run a week, so say like it comes out on the 22nd and it ends the 29th, they have until the 15th. They have maybe 2 weeks to optimize the game from the beta.
Well, I think the beta, I don't know, because some companies run a beta like months before to get the game, but then some people some developers, I think, or companies, they run a beta just to tweak a few things. It's like just like a server test to see, get an idea of the player count.
But that's why you would want to.
But I think the game's already like polished as far as like gameplay and all. I think that's how it runs. I don't know.
Hope so.
This is like the kind of the final build of the game, but then we're just making small tweaks here or there, and we're not making big adjustments, I guess. I have no idea, but there's just some companies use beta to actually change gameplay and ideas, but then some companies just do the stress testing.
Yeah, it's not about change gameplay. It's about stress test, because if they don't stress it enough, this Battlefield is potentially the biggest Battlefield. Or at least,
I would say every new Battlefield is the big, I don't think it ever.
No, not Battlefield.
I don't think it ever goes down.
Battlefield 5 was, a lot of people didn't like Battlefield 5 because they politicized it.
Oh, I don't know what you mean by politicized it.
That's what people say. At least that's what Kyle says, because they politicized it. And I'm like, well, what did they politicize? What exactly? Well, they added women to it.
I don't understand unless like I don't mind. I don't care about, because everything used to be men or white men in most things that I watched growing up. But like, it's to a certain point, because I always watched the Wayans brothers. I watched White Men Can't Jump. I watched there's plenty of, I watched Boys in the Hood. There's plenty of movies that had
Cosby Show.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, all these shows. Yeah, all of these shows. It's like if you didn't watch the Jamie Foxx show, if you didn't know how great him and Fancy were, and like, what was the one guy's name? He was the bald one. He was very proper. Do you remember that show?
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Braxton. Yeah, Braxton. Mm-hmm. If you don't know these shows, it's not. If you watched all white shows, that's you're there were black shows out there that were good, and like I don't understand that. And there's plenty of like women who were funny, like, but if I don't like the complaining. Like there's this in NBA 2K, you have your agent's a woman, and she was like, "Do you know how many agents at the top of this male-dominated thing there are?" She brought that up in the basketball. They're in this room,
and it was like just click. I'm not playing this fucking shit.
I was like, please stop with this. Like you can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever. There is nobody. Do you know why? Like, I in a competitive world where men are at the top, like certain men are at the top, and then that women enter the workforce, like, because women haven't entered the workforce, like it's been 100 years before they were allowed to, do whatever they wanted to do. And then they have their equal rights and they can do whatever they want. Well, it's competitive. So the men at the top are going to want to keep their position against anybody.
Yeah.
Male or
even
female.
Other men. Even other men.
Yeah. So you can be anybody and they're going to want to keep their status. You want to take their jobs? Well, then you're going to have to work harder.
You're going to have to be better than them.
Yeah.
Be better than them.
Like it's all it is. It's real weird. Well, they're holding me down because I'm a woman. No, because you're coming after their jobs.
Yeah. Are you trying to get their job? Well, yeah.
If your job's not competitive, but most jobs are competitive.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that thought process. But
and there's one thing I do want to bring up, and it's completely different. But it's just I've kind of come to this realization. So remember, I was talking about abortion, and I asked you, I was like, hey, how do you feel with? Because I saw this argument, or I got into this argument with one of my old team leaders from the Army, and she was basically advocating for killing children, unborn babies, because they may or may not have horrible trauma in their life. Remember I mentioned that?
Well, yeah, that's not a good reason. It's like, that's not a good reason.
And then there was someone else who was commenting, one of her friends, whatever. She started advocating. She said, well, there are women, there are people who can't afford to feed themselves, so how are they going to feed their babies? I'm like, if you can't feed yourself, why are you having children? Why are you even having sex? But and then I saw that, and then I came to the realization: liberals, because abortion and abortion rights. Nowhere in the Constitution is it a right for a woman to kill an unborn baby. That's not a right. That's not a right. But I've noticed
you do have the right to do what you want with your body, correct? No one can force treatment on you, right?
Well, yeah, but having if you're pregnant, that's not women's health. That's unless the child, unless during delivery, and the woman's if there's a
complication,
and we'll even get into because there's an abortion they ban abortion in Texas. We'll get into that, okay? Because there's a lot of myth. There's a lot of myth to that. Anyways.
Well, yeah, they didn't ban abortion. They just made it legal for people to sue the doctor, right? Past 6 weeks. So it's like that. I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, you can't just. It's basically preventing abortion used as contraceptive, which is why I'm, at least, especially nowadays, why I'm so against. Anytime I hear abortion, I'm immediately thinking, oh, it's just dumb kids just screwing, and they don't want to have any consequences, so they're just, oh, well, whatever, I'm just going to get rid of it. And progressives and liberals are pushing that. They're pushing that. Like, oh, and look, so, okay, let me get my thoughts together. So my whole thing is, with liberals and progressives, it's another way to victimize people, to put in their head that they're victims. Like, oh, well, it's not your fault. It's another way to shift the blame. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You don't need to. It's okay. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, and no consequences. No consequences. Oh, you want to be whatever you want. You want to be a woman? Sure, no problem. No consequences. You want to have sex however much you want. You don't have to worry about children because abortion is your right. You can just kill the child off, and then but then they don't. And have you noticed that these liberals and progressives, they never once say, hey, practice safe sex or don't have sex. IUDs, the implants for women, those work really great. They work really, really good. Condoms. Obviously, we can't. And I understand. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. Obviously, we can't force people to not have sex. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, because we have free will. What I'm saying is the answer is not to just kill the fucking child off just because you want to. That's not the answer. That can't be the answer, because then if you say that's the answer, if you start pushing that's the answer, then children are going to look at that and then just go have a bunch of sex. And that's exactly what's happening. And then they're just going to they're going to have 13, 14 abortions. Even one abortion can prevent you from having children in the future.
I have a comedic question that
a comical question?
a comical response to this. So conservatives are concerned about all these liberal people killing their babies, right?
Yeah.
Why are you concerned that the liberals are basically controlling their own population? You don't want more of them, do you? Do you want to be surrounded by more liberals? No, you don't.
That's a good one.
You're the people who should be for abortion. It makes perfect sense.
Kill your children.
Go ahead. Go right ahead. I don't care.
I like that. That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Unless you're thinking it was like, well, hey, there's a person we can make a conservative. But if they're born to these hippie liberals, the chances of them being conservative, unless they hate their parents and then they want to just.
But see, and you know, and then
doesn't make any sense.
That's really funny. I enjoy that. But then even then, man, it's like, and it's just. But yeah, this other woman, she's literally not once was it the mother's or the father's responsibility for the child. Not once did she ever say, "Oh no, you know what? Yeah, they decided to have sex, and you know they should get they should think about it." No, nothing. Not their responsibility at all. And I'm like,
I think it's your responsibility as someone who had sex willingly. But there is that also you're having people having sex. Like I didn't have sex till I was 21 and it wasn't by my choice. I had a ponytail. So I basically made myself a virgin until 21 until I cut my hair. That's besides the point. But you're having sex at such a young age that your mind isn't developed.
Yeah.
So they get into these situations to where they don't understand the ramifications of their actions, obviously. So
and that's where these liberals are getting in too.
And most people, they're liberal when they're younger.
Yeah.
And then once they get older, they mature more. They
get a business, so like
they have their own money. They want to keep, and then their liberal friends are like, if you make too much money, why don't you give more money? It's like, well, this is my money. I earned it. Don't you want to give it to these homeless people? No, I don't. I don't want to, like, if my taxes actually went to help them, but I don't believe that's the case. So I don't think, it's whatever, but I'm on the fence about it because I don't ever want to force people to get certain operations. I think if you're 18 years old and you want to say, if you want an operation, I think you should be able to get it. I think drugs should be legal. I think all drugs should be legal. I think it should be like the whole cocaine and fentanyl thing, people dying from fentanyl, which I think is like a small number of people in, relatively speaking. But I think if cocaine was, according to people who die from alcohol related incidents, it's drunk driving, all those other, it's relatively small towards that, but not a lot of people do coke, but that's besides the point. But if cocaine and heroin were taxed and then actually like what's in it is in it, I think it would be less of an issue. I think. I don't know. But I think that because alcohol kills a whole bunch of people, I don't go crazy and, do that. So like if I can go drink bleach. There's a whole bunch of poisonous shit that I can go buy at the store and kill myself with. Why does the government care about cocaine? Why does the government care about heroin? Why? So that's an interesting thought process. So like if they're for protecting us and there's all these dangerous substances, but like say if millions of people were drinking bleach, would they ban bleach? Would they ban whatever they're doing? Like when the idiot kids were eating Tide pods or whatever?
I think that's different though because heroin and cocaine, that is specifically to alter your brain, and it's to alter your state. It's specifically, and it's nothing but harmful. And alcohol isn't harmful unless it's in. And heroin and cocaine are way more addictive than alcohol, because there are millions of people who go out and party and drink alcohol and aren't addicted to alcohol. Now look, I understand there are some people who do ecstasy, and I'm like, no, if they keep doing ecstasy, they're going to get addicted. If they keep doing heroin, they're going to get addicted. So bleach is a cleaning substance. Bleach is not specifically to alter your mind. Bleach does not alter your mind. Bleach is nothing but poisonous to the body. Tide Pods
like there's no good, but bleach is in
get
your head.
Argument.
Nothing is nothing is good about heroin, but like I don't like I've never taken heroin, so like if you take a little bit of heroin, just like a quarter dose, I don't know what it is that fine? You know what I mean? Just to get like a little buzz, just how like a little bit of drinking is okay, but then if you do it every day, it's a problem. So if you do like heroin like once a month, just have like a nice little trip.
Well,
I hear it's fantastic, and it's basically like going to heaven.
Well,
that would be amazing, but I don't like to feel out of control of me, so that's why I don't like drinking. I don't like I never was interested in doing drugs. It's like I don't want to feel not like myself.
Yeah, no, it's well, I mean, if you do think about it, it depends on how much money you make when certain things are illegal. I mean, technically it's still illegal, but if you make a certain amount of money, certain things don't pertain to you.
Well, that's with everything. That's with everything. It's like a politician can have someone murdered and then just be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. They're too big. Yeah, and it's like, oh, all those emails got deleted. I have no idea what you're. No, I'm not going to go to jail. I'm a governor of a state, and I closed down my competitors' wineries while keeping mine open during a pandemic. I don't go to jail.
Yeah,
it's like
I push mask mandates and then don't wear mask mandates.
You should go to prison. You should go to prison for that.
Well, actually, today and tomorrow you can vote for Larry Elder. Actually, I did see. Apparently, this is starting to blow up a little bit. There have been multiple reports where people are, and it seems to be more people who vote Republican are going to these voting booths in person, and they'll give them the little ticket, and they'll tell them back, like, "Hey, you've already voted," and they're like, "What are you talking about? I haven't voted." Apparently, that's starting to. I've been kind of researching over like
looking
past
at
day or two, and it seems to be like actually legit. I'm like, that's
because do you need voter? Do you need an ID? I don't even know if you need an ID for the recall.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure you do. I'm pretty sure, unless you're a person of color, then you don't need anything for anything. Because you're a victim, you know.
If you're a minority, you don't. But you'll need a vaccination card, though. That's not racist.
Yeah.
but it is
not for me.
But it is an interesting, like the hypocrisy of both sides, because it's very interesting that they don't want, like, if you're having a baby and you want to get an abortion, you're basically forced to have the baby. Like in a society where abortion's illegal. Okay, hypothetically, we live in a society where abortion is illegal. You're basically forcing a person to have a baby that does not want to have a baby. Okay, so they're like, my body, my choice. You shouldn't be able to force anything on a person as far as medical treatments. And it's like, okay, but then with the vaccine, the Democrats want to basically mandate you to get the vaccine, and then conservatives are like, I don't want the government in my body at all. I don't want the government making medical decisions for me and my family. Was like, but you want to force people to not have an abortion. You want to force people, like a medical issue, basically, which is being pregnant. You want to force that on somebody, but at the same time, you want everyone to stay out of your business. You want the government and doctors to stay out of your business when it comes to the treatment. Well, it's not identical. It's not identical, but it's similar in a way. And that's where I have an issue with people who are strictly for something. And again, like there are these weird little gray areas. And I'm not talking about rape because that's like 2% of the abortions. It's very, very low number. But if someone wants to, like, I can understand if it's your kid, you being upset at the woman if you want to keep it and she gets rid of it. I understand that anger, but I don't understand when people get upset about other people getting abortions of unborn babies. Now, if I knew more about how big the babies were in the womb and at what weeks, what months or whatever, I think I would be a little like more hesitant. And even hearing about how they get an abortion, like at certain stages where they break the baby up and then like vacuum it, like all these other things. And then other times it's just like so small that sometimes women have miscarriages and then it just comes like, it's just a really small thing and it comes out and they're like, what the? So there's things like that. So I don't know enough about it to have a firm stance, but I'm leaning more towards on the side of if a woman wants to have an abortion, she should be able to have the abortion. It doesn't concern me. But then I also feel for like a man who say loves the woman and then she doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. And I
he
feel for
has
that
no
too.
say in it.
He has
absolutely zero say in it.
Zero say in it. It's the only law that is biased towards the sexes because it like before it used to be kind of all like men used to run the whole thing, but now like say if you get a divorce back, before like back when my mom and dad got a divorce, the woman got mostly everything in the settlement or whatever. But now it's getting a little bit more equal, I would say. It's getting better, but it is interesting.
I understand where you're. I understand like you're talking about the hypocrisy.
I think we're all
there's a problem with that though. There's a problem of morality. How many abortions would you say it takes for it to become morally wrong?
I don't know about how many abortions.
Because you have to remember. Now, also you have to take into consideration, women don't know that they're pregnant. Typically, if I'm not mistaken, about 6 weeks in. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, there are like certain circumstances where they don't know. Like some women, I remember one person was like a few months and she didn't show. She had no idea that she was pregnant. And then I'm like, well, because I think she was on birth control and she wasn't getting any periods anyway.
Mm-hmm. So she went. So I'm pretty sure there's many cases like that.
Yeah, but in my head, I'm thinking, so just because it's morally wrong, we understand as a society, killing is wrong. If I kill you, I go to jail. But if me and you are at war, I can kill you. If me and you, our countries are at war, I can kill you.
Well, there's a difference. Hold on, don't see you now. See, that's where the whole twist of like the left comes in. Is if you kill me, you're killing me for no reason. But in war,
what if I had a good reason?
No. Just hear me out.
What if you stole my Xbox?
This is where people try to use that argument all the time. It's like, no, and they never take into consideration of when we go to war, it's usually because there are someone trying to take over or take our freedoms away or want to harm us or something like that. So
except for the last few wars that we were in.
Well, like Desert Storm, like that was partly because of terrorism. We were trying to end that.
Well, I understand. You can't end terrorism. I understand like going in and taking out the people responsible for 9/11. I understand that, but like going to other countries and then staying there for 20 years, I don't know if that is.
But that's not necessarily war. If we have like a station out in like North Korea or South Korea or whatever, it's not war. It's just.
No, I'm saying like just the most recent war on terrorism. It started at 9/11. And we went there for a good reason to get the people directly responsible. And then we stayed there for other reasons, whether it be oil or precious minerals or whatever reason we're staying in that country. But then like the whole thing is, because people make money off of war. So there is that aspect to it. Like, like Vietnam.
There's corruption with.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Everything. So like there are good reasons to go to war, World War I and II. People, Germany was trying to take over and then Germany and Japan were trying to take over. There are good reasons to go to war. I'm not saying that we have to defend our right to live. I'm not saying that, but it is an interesting argument that like, just because something's morally wrong, like as a society, we can say, hey, this might be morally wrong, but it's legal because there's like these weird gray areas that you fall into. Because if you make that illegal, then you have to make this, and this, and whatever those things are. I don't know, but like making abortion completely illegal, I would rather have options than no options. I would rather have options than no options.
But you do have options for abortion. Other than abortion, you do.
Well, you don't have any other options for abortion. Like but once you're pregnant, you have no options.
Yeah, no, you can give the child away.
But that is an option. But like some people don't want that like to go through that process. And so if they don't want to go through that process, yes, they technically shouldn't have sex. I agree with you on that. But there are circumstances where you're young and you're dumb and you don't understand you can be on birth control and be like 99.9% whatever protected, and then you still get pregnant.
Of course, but
it's the whole argument against the COVID vaccine is because of like I'm 99%, I'm gonna be okay. 99.9%, I'm gonna be fine. You should still get the vaccine. Well, no. Like the same thing with birth. Like there are circumstances where it breaks through, but just because something is I don't think you can punish someone. Like they did their due diligence. Like I don't know if you have a caveat where you're on birth control, all these other things. Like if you have these and then you still get pregnant, then do those special people get the right to have an abortion because they took those steps? Then you're in this weird gray area
so the difference between the vaccine and abortion is the vaccine has to do with my actual health. Abortion, it has nothing to do with the woman's health. There's another life here at stake. That's where the whole morality comes into it. I understand.
It's different, but like the woman's health will be, like
the woman's health
affected.
the woman's health is affected by getting an abortion.
But it's also affected by having the kid too.
It's usually women. Most cases of women having the baby, they're fine. Just about all
but they
women.
Get fat, Ray.
Yeah, I know, Ray. I know.
And that could lead to a whole bunch of other health issues.
But abortion, you can have one abortion and never have kids again. One. Yeah. There are more downsides to abortion than there are good sides. There are more.
I don't know about that. I don't know about.
No, there are. There are.
I don't know.
There are.
I would not want to have a kid.
So the Texas abortion law, so in cases of say like if if the mother is if her life is at stake and there's complications during birth, the doctor at that moment can make the decision whether to terminate the pregnancy. Same thing with like children. So like if a 14-year-old is pregnant, they can because the law, they understand that there are gray areas, and look, I'm not you already know I believe in God, and I haven't once mentioned God. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. This is so. I mean, if you can obviously throw that in there if you want to, but
I don't think religion is I don't think using religion is never a good reason to make a law.
Well, yeah, but even without God, you cannot justify aborting children because you simply just don't want to have a child. Well, I don't want to have a child. I'll just go ahead and or try to make the argument. Well, if I give this baby up for adoption, they're probably gonna they have a good chance of having a lot of trauma in their life. So it's better off if I just kill them now. Wow, that's a great fucking cop-out and a great shift of responsibility. Like,
well, no, that logic doesn't make any sense to me. But I think people try to wrap their brain around it because instead of thinking about what they're doing, they try to make themselves like feel better about it. There is a part of that, but there's another part where women go, I don't want to grow a baby inside me. I shouldn't be forced to have a baby by society at all. And I get that argument too. So like, I'm just like, if men had babies, like, technically the only form of like male birth control are condoms and then getting, what's it called? When they snip your tubes or whatever. Vasectomy. Yeah. Those are the only two options. There's no like pill you take that has a whole bunch of side effects. For women, there is for some reason. Like, why isn't it for that? Because I don't think men would put up with that kind of birth control. I mean, we don't even like wearing condoms.
But see, I get that. But then,
so it is an interest. It is. I think it will always have this issue or this like.
Well, of course. Well, yeah.
This,
so society, society pressuring someone to grow a baby inside. I understand that, but then at the same time, I still can't. Everyone knows the consequences of sex. Everyone knows the consequences of sex. Yeah. So even then, like, I still think that's a cop out. Oh well, I should be pressured to have a baby growing inside of me. It's not having something growing. It seems to me what people fail to realize is the significance of life, and like that. Like that's not. Like for instance, say like a baby, say like a child is born and they grow up to be an adult. The mother, say like they found out that the mother was going to abort them. How much do you want to fucking bet that adult is like, oh, thank you for not killing me, thank you, I'm glad, I enjoy my life, thank you.
But I get that part. I get that argument. And then there's also the argument that the baby will never know, it will never like experience anything to where it misses something, but that argument can carry over to like 1 to 5 year olds to never take them to Disneyland or never do anything nice for them because they're not going to remember it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when people use that argument, so say if I have an abortion, if I kill my baby early, it doesn't matter because they won't remember it. Well, it's like, well, when you die, you're not going to remember anything anyway. Like if there is no God, you're not going to remember anything. And in that instance, I hope there's a God. And in that way, though, everything's kind of taken care of. But I don't know.
I think
there's
it's
a weird,
just I think
there's a weird society issue that, because if we have
I think it's more of a slippery slope to advocate and to push that it's a right for abortion. I don't
think it should be pushed as like a positive thing. I think it should be.
It's like
I think it should be.
They have shows. They have shows where like these women, I just got an abortion. We're gonna go party tonight. I'm like, are you serious?
That kind of mentality is, I think, wrong. When you're like, yeah, I just killed my baby. Let's go drink. You're like, woo, like, no baby. I'm like,
yeah. I'm like,
it's not.
I don't care what it is. That's pure evil.
But when women have like they're torn and they have this like terrible experience with it, and they're torn, and it's just like they actually feel. I think those people are not the majority. The people that get an abortion and then they're fine with it. I think those people, because I've spoken to multiple women who've had abortions, and they felt terrible about it. They weren't happy about it. Yeah. They weren't happy about it. It's like, my life would be changed forever in a negative way. I was pregnant in high school. I didn't have, my life together. I made a mistake, and they're like, I made this selfish decision to whatever. And they had kids later in life when they were, mature and all that stuff. And then, so I'm like, do I weigh first of all, I'm conservative in a way, like as far as money and keeping, so it would be more expensive for them to have the child given up for adoption and then be put in the foster care system, because that's another mouth to feed. That's way more expensive than, so my cheaper version as far as taxes and all that stuff, which is an interesting thing that the conservatives, I never heard the conservatives talk about, or the left talk about, because having an abortion is cheaper than having the kid and being raised through foster care. Because people who have foster kids get like kickbacks from the government. They get bonuses and whatever. So that's less money going to all of us. And it costs more to have these children live till 18. Because basically the system, if they're in the foster care, has to raise these kids. If they get adopted, I think it's different. But then those people get money from the government if they take in kids from foster care. So there is that. So my argument to the left would be, well, the conservatives, those people, they want more money for, projects and all that other things. So abortions are cheaper. So that's money that's not spent towards raising a kid. So you guys should be for abortion because you're for, like, that's a way to get, because I didn't think about that before.
I don't think that's a way to, kill a life off because you make more money off. What?
It shouldn't be a reason, but it should be an argument, because they're for government.
I'm pretty sure
conservatives don't like government overspending. So it is.
Sure. Yeah, but that's. I'm pretty sure there are many conservatives out there who can completely demolish that argument. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, but
it's something small that I like, a little, not a. It's like
there's got to be a reason why they haven't.
Well, I just think a lot of conservatives are religious, and so it's a moral issue about like all life is precious, and then whether you believe that or not. But a lot of these people who say all life is precious, you find out they do terrible things to people. So like but that shouldn't be. Those are outliers. I would imagine. I would hope anyway.
Well, I mean, then you also make the argument. I mean,
all life is precious, and then you're like, white people should marry white people. It's like, what? No, that's what? You're like, huh? I don't know
I don't know. I don't know of any conservative. I think that's more on the left, actually, because they want more segregation.
Now they do. Yeah, it's weird. It's real weird. But it's for a good reason, though. It's for a good reason.
Notice how they twist it? Notice how they twist it?
It's really weird because they're having like black-owned businesses, and like you can't go in there. They're like the whole day without a white person in college and stuff like that. They have these things where it's just like, but segregation in any form is bad. Any form is bad. So why
Well,
are you
hey, if you
pushing
think
it?
about it, back then,
It's real weird.
Democrats back all the way back then with the KKK, they had segregate. Democrats pushed for segregation as well. They did all that.
So
Now they're doing it
just
again.
it's just another
They
form
just
of
flipped
it?
it now. It was back then. It was white people who were better than black people scientifically, and now it's black people are better than white people.
So they need to be separated so they can grow and prosper.
And now they have another 3-letter group, BLM. Look, when that was brought to me, I was like, when I first saw that, like back then, the Democrats pushed for the KKK, Democrats pushed for segregation, but back then it was white people. Now, we have BLM, Black Lives Matter, and then they're pushing for segregation for black people, and I'm like, dude, I was like, what?
Well, it's weird because you kind of stop hearing about, because like Black Lives Matter, the slogan is like that's like powerful and like if you're looking at it from
obviously Black Lives Matter, obviously.
Yeah. If you're looking at it from just that perspective, it's good. And then I found out there was a group, and I'm like, oh, what's this group about?
You're like, you start reading,
and it's like there's no. Yeah, it's like to imperialism, and I was like, and then because I didn't know technically what imperialism was, and I didn't know what the nuclear family was, so I looked up the definition of both of those things, and I'm like, that's our society.
So they want to bring.
I was like, nuclear family. That sounds bad. I don't know what they're doing with the nuclear family. It's like any married couple with one or more children. I'm like, I don't know. Why do you want to get rid of that? That's not.
And then now the co-founders are coming out admitting they're Marxists, trained Marxists. What?
Yeah, there's all these different. Yeah, and a lot of people, because during the whole, like when BLM was like getting real popular, a lot of the black sports analysis people, they were like for it. They were all blah 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 blah. And then there was one guy, Max. There was one black guy who actually looked into it and went on their website. And he saw this and he was like, look, I'm all for Black Lives Matter, but they want to get rid of, and he read off all this stuff. And he was like, no. He's like, it's like people need to do some research and actually look into what they're supporting. And he was like, I will never go to a BLM rally. I will never support anything that has BLM on it at all. He's like, I will do my due diligence as, a black person in society. But I was like, yeah. And then you don't hear hardly about it at all. You don't hear about people really supporting it because they've been outed for what they actually want.
What they actually are.
And it's like you have to be extremist to agree with like the BLM, like the organization. You have to be a real left-wing like believer, and we have to tear down society as we know it.
And that's another reason why Joe Biden never showed up or he never included BLM or never called BLM. You remember that? Right?
I don't remember. No.
Yeah. So when he was elected, BLM was reaching out to him to, talk to him and, the co-founders, whatever. Not once did he ever do it. And he still hasn't done it. As far as I know, he still hasn't reached out to them. But he was advocating for it, obviously.
Well, because at first everyone was like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, good. And then, which was really brilliant that they made their company the name that saying that everyone agrees with. That's like, chocolate is delicious, and then but then chocolate is delicious is somehow like a fascist like group that is like, no, you love chocolate, I love chocolate, be a part of this group. It's like, it's very good marketing, but then to have that letter that they took down later, by the way, because they saw the
shit, people are finding out about it.
Oh, God, we have to keep this more of a secret. Not everyone agrees with this. It's like, no, people just want to live normal life. Like they want to get married, they want to have a family, buy a house. They want to have that. Yeah. That's what most people want in society. You're never going to overthrow anything with, we have to get rid of families. You're never going to do that.
I think it was dumb. I think Steven Crowder, he did a change my mind bit on that, and he had printed out the piece that said that, and he was talking to this one, because I think it was like BLM is a terrorist organization or whatever. Change my mind. And then, like, there were so many people he would read that to, and they're like, "That's from the website." And then they would like they would some would still be for it just because they're idiots and they don't want to admit that they're wrong or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but then there were a lot of them were like they would like try to like backpedal a little bit or like try to go around it.
No,
like he's like, yeah, this is on their website. They go, that's on their website. He goes, I'm pretty sure they took it down now, but yeah, no, it was definitely on their website. And they're like,
no, that's interesting.
Maybe I should.
He's like, do you have a mother and father? Yes. Do you love them? Yes. Well, they want to get rid of all that. They want to stop that for some reason.
But what I've actually come to especially with like the media outlets, because I would say I lean a little towards more like Fox News, especially like Tucker Carlson, because Tucker Carlson, he really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you're wrong, you're wrong. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a fucking liberal. That's what I like about Tucker Carlson. Anyways, however,
he does his stupid fake laugh when I can't stand him sometimes. I can't.
Well, okay, look, he's had some,
like Kamala Harris's laugh. That's just
he has some crazy. Okay, there is a difference because he calls her Crazy Kathy, and this bitch. Okay, you got to watch that shit. Okay, you got to watch it because she was advocating that, about babies. Have you heard of that?
Babies? No, this is fascinating. I love crazy Democrat leftist
instead
people.
Of babies, instead of calling them babies, call them babies because it's more gender neutral than babies, which the word baby is gender neutral already. But you need to call them babies. Then she advocated for breastfeeding isn't nurturing and it is not a bonding experience. He had her on. And so that like kind of nervous laugh, I think at a time it is kind of nervous, but it's also he's basically laughing in the fucking face because it's so ridiculous.
Well, not that laugh. There's a lot when he has people that agree with him and they're like kind of making fun of something else, like crazy left-wing people. He has this like it just seems so fake and like forced. It's not a genuine laugh, but he's on the air for hours and hours and hours. So I get there has to be some kind of performance, but it is a performance thing. And I watch a little like 10-minute snippets sometimes of whatever to watch him and then watch MSNBC and watch, all the other ones just to get some kind of neutral. It's so fun to be kind of in the middle and see these people who are, they're not extremists, but they're on the left or the right. And they're on, and it's just funny to see them see one issue and then have like, this is the way it should be, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, why should it be that way?
Well, certain subjects, yes. Certain subjects, yes, it should be a certain way. Because look, if we're going to be honest, you can be centralist, but there are, as I said millions of times, there are universal truths.
But I don't know if my way of thinking is true. Like universal truths, yes, you shouldn't be you shouldn't molest children. You shouldn't be a pedophile. You shouldn't rape people. You shouldn't kill people. Yes, there are universal truths. I agree.
There are gray areas with certain subjects. Obviously.
Yeah, like with it's crazy. Like killing people is that gray area. Like it's okay. If someone's attacking you, you can kill someone, but you can never molest a child and it be okay. There's no gray area with that. But it's weird though, right? So like,
because you're defending your own life, and as a right, we have as our right is life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and all that kind of stuff. So that. And plus, and if we didn't have that right, then there would be so many people in jail and blah, 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 blah. But
would they be in jail, or would it just be like the Middle Ages where
I don't know.
You go to a town and you're on your little wagon, someone shoots you and takes your wagon, and it's just like, oh, where'd you get that? Oh, nothing. Yeah. There's no. I am that person now, and you take their identity and you just live as them.
But so I saw a video. It was on TikTok. It was these two people who were watching Fox. They're like, oh, watch this. Look, watch. And then it was Fox News, and it showed breaking news. And they always do this. All media outlets do this. They give like this picture of like someone who like looks worried or like a horrible picture of them, and that gives you the sense of like, oh yeah, they're a fucking asshole. And all media outlets do that. I don't care who you are, Fox or whatever. But it showed Joe Biden like this, and then it showed like there could be a story where he could have possibly droned like a drone attack that he initiated,
messed up or whatever,
and it killed someone else. But they use the word a bombshell report, and I'm like, and I remember watching CNN and MSNBC and all those when Trump was, they constantly use the word bombshell report and then lie about Trump.
Well, because they have to get your attention.
Yeah, of course. So and then I see
like
Fox News using that word, and I'm like, Yeah, I see Fox News using that word. I'm like, no, I can't. Look, I can't listen to that. I can't. I have to like, okay, if that's true, okay, I'll have to look into it. I'll look into it myself. I'll try to, multiple sources, multiple articles, whatever about it. If it's really true, then okay, yeah, that's fucked. That's pretty fucked. But but using that word bombshell like that, that's why I don't even really watch Fox News. I mean, if it's on, yeah, I'll watch it, and I'll definitely believe Fox News over fucking CNN and MSNBC. I'll definitely believe them and be like, okay, I'll still look into it. Okay, I'll still look into it, but I'm more inclined to believe
like I
them
lean more towards your guys' side, but like that's why I watch Breaking Points and I watch The Hill on YouTube, and they have a conservative and a Democrat on there, and then they'll each one, like they'll talk about, this news came out. What do you think about it? Crystal, what do you think about it? I forget the other guy's name. And they'll talk about it, and then they'll have their own little 10-minute. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll have their own points, but then they'll have a subject that's like near and dear to their heart. So like Crystal is, I think, more left leaning, and she does more like not universal health care, but Medicare, all these different things. Unionization, she's more towards that. And then
but she's more of a moderate leftist. She's not.
Well, yeah. Like she's not an extreme. No. Well, because she has her own business now. Her own business is sitting next to a conservative guy. So she's more obviously more accepting of everyone's viewpoints. It's not. Oh yeah. But it's just interesting to see, like, those are the kind of news outlets or independent that people trust. More people are trusting now. Like, they're getting more hits in their YouTube videos than Fox and MSNBC are. And I'm like, what? So that's where that's going. So unless you have, and that's what it's fun, because I think society, when you have these extreme, you have to go here soon, pretty soon, but society, when you have these extreme viewpoints and it's at 10 or 11 all the time, people are going to get exhausted.
Well, yeah, that's why Fox News was they were at 4 million views almost every single time, and then that's why CNN's ratings dropped so low. It's because, as you said, it was up here all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
It's emergency, and then like the world didn't end.
Yeah,
so really,
there's really bad happened, and you're like,
the world didn't end. We're fine.
Okay.
We're fine. So like, everyone realizes the majority realizes that it's entertainment. It's a business. They have to sell ads. The more people watch, the more they can sell those advertising space for. So you're not reporting the news as a helpful thing to society. You're reporting the news to make money. So as soon as that happens, I don't trust you anymore.
Yeah.
So now these independent people who got tired of that are reporting the news, and they're just reporting it. They happen to make money off of it, which is fine, but that's not their main goal. Their main goal is I see this problem, and we shouldn't be reporting the news for money. We should be reporting the news to inform the public, to better our society. And I think that's where independent journalists are going to
another reason why I do like Fox a little bit more is because they have this one special. It's called The Five. It has Greg Gutfeld and Waters. I can't remember his first name. But they have a couple people. They have 5 people talking, but one of them is Juan. His name's Juan, but he's a left. He's not super extreme, but so they have that. But he's that he's, and the rest are conservative, but they still have that opposite
viewpoint.
Yeah, viewpoint.
They have 1 out of the 5. They should probably have 2.
Two but CNN has none. MSNBC, none. You see what I'm saying? Like, dude, I've seen MSNBC, CNN. I see they'll have 9 different people on one screen, and they're all the same viewpoint. I'm like, what the hell?
That's then there's no point to have those people. Like it's weird. Even the 5, if 4 of those people have the same viewpoints, basically, they differ in little things, there's no reason to have all of them on there, because they all kind of share the same views. So it doesn't. So that's why I have a conservative, and then have a left-leaning person.
And that's it. But another reason why I watch Fox more is because they actually give Juan. They don't shut him up. They let him talk. They let him tell his viewpoint. And that's the whole thing with Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Look, even if because I know you don't agree with Candace Owens and a lot of things. However,
she comes off super smart, She comes off really smart on certain things and then so dumb on other things.
But okay, so you have that. But, however, if you wanted to talk to her about something and you had a different viewpoint, she wouldn't shut you up. She wouldn't say, nope, you can't do that. No, I don't want to hear any other. No,
unless you're a porn star.
Open to it.
Unless you're a porn star.
Yeah,
then you can't come to her show.
See, then
she lost the high road there. She lost the high road there.
That's where I'm like, well, I don't think she was a part of that. She agreed with it. But then I'm just like, whoa, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? That's
like you're shutting somebody up because of their job, and their job is legal.
Oh my god!
And their job is legal. I can understand if it was like Bill Cosby and like or O.J. Simpson, they're alleged to have done something, but this person's just a porn star.
And she wasn't doing it. She wasn't even like, I can understand if she was there promoting it. Then like, hey, look, you can't do that here. Don't do that. Like,
yeah, she's walking around with her titties out, and
But no, she was dressed normally. She just went there and sat there because she likes those.
She wants to learn. Like, she wants to learn. Like you had someone who.
Nope, you can't be here. And I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I forgot that they did that, and that bothered me. That really bothered me.
You're the one who pointed it out to me.
I even brought that shit up to my mother. My mother, she completely disagreed with it. She's like, no, yeah, they shouldn't have done that. She's like, my mother, Chase. You know how conservative my mother is when it comes to sex.
Yeah. She doesn't want to see it, hear about it. She doesn't want
nothing.
Sex doesn't exist.
Yeah, she heard about them pushing away a porn star. My mom's like, no, that's wrong. No, what do you? No, yeah. You should be judged by that.
Like, is porn legal? Yeah, then you shouldn't push them away.
No, man, yeah, that was, and I wholeheartedly, like, I kind of want to go. Because I kind of want to find out, like, the next time they speak and have an open mic at whatever college, I want to go and I want to fucking ask them about that specifically. Like, write down, be like, look, I'm all for you guys. I'm 100% support you guys. But there's one thing that I cannot support. Brandy Love, she's a porn star, and you, specifically only because she's a porn star, you just...
Well, you can say, like, the reports are you kicked her out.
Yeah, the reports are you kicked her out specifically only because she's a porn star. Now, if I'm... just be like...
I could be wrong. Like, is that what actually happened? Like,
you
didn't want a porn star?
Or is it, and like, you're judging someone based off of their job? And I've said, if she came there, what if she was interested in changing your life? And you just look, now where do you think she's going to go? Where do you think she's going to go? She's going to go to fucking, I mean, maybe that didn't change her views, but she could possibly.
It's possible.
Could go to the left. And then they would be like, oh yeah, sex work is real work. No, it's not. Stop.
Sex work is real work. Dealing with men all the time. Jeez, can you imagine the losers? Oh god. Not if you're a well-known porn star. Not if you're a well-known porn star. Just losers. You have to like people pay you $5,000 for a night, and it's not hot guys paying for that. It's not hot guys. Now there's hot guys in the porn.
You can say no.
In the porn movie. But I couldn't. And most of the guys they deal with, they're like, I couldn't imagine.
Well, they probably like the money more. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. He's paying me a lot of money, so it doesn't matter.
Well, certain women can like separate the two, but I could.
But then there are a lot of women who just don't care and they just want to have sex. They don't care. They don't care. Sex can be addicting.
I'd say more than money is I think sex is addicting more for men than it is women. I would say
for women too.
I said it's more addicting for men. I would say on average. But anyways, this has been
the whole real quick. But
you have to go.
I know. Just chill. Okay. For the most part, I'll say this. For the most part, okay. If you disagree with them, they'll hear you out. For the most part.
For the most part. Can I end it now? Is that what you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if there was more to it. I didn't want to interrupt you, and then you freak out on me. I always interrupt.
Hey, that's a conservative viewpoint on Twitter. Block them.
Yeah.
They're just advocating for family, for people to live their life. No, it doesn't matter. Get them off.
Yeah.
You can't have that kind of talk around here. Free speech. What do you mean?
Even if it swings that way, there's things where they can swing the other way too. So like I think it's good. We'll end on this. I think it's good that society has multiple ideas. And they're always clashing and hitting each other. And then one wins a little bit. And then the people realize that that's not a good idea. And the other one comes back. I think that's I don't think we should ever banish a form of or thought.
Unless they start pushing communism. Then you're like, no, communism is always bad.
Well, no, I get that part of it. But there are like, Well, we're going off again, but it's an idea like nothing good came out of Nazi Germany. Like people have that thought, and then like the whole highway system. Like
I know you said that. But
yeah,
the highway system has nothing to do with communism, Chase.
I understand that, but they say nothing good ever came out.
What they mean is of communism and
of their idea. But I know that.
You
I
can't tie
that.
millions of people losing their lives. Well, hey, we got the freeway system. No,
I'm not saying I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that when people say like they never have good ideas, and I'm just like all like American soldiers and people used to throw their guns down and pick up like the German weapons because they were built better. Like there are like positive things that came out of it, but there are good things like as far as ingenuity and how to build like Germans are great. Their tanks are like one of their tanks was worth like 3 or 4 of ours. Like,
but
so
I'm pretty sure what they mean is their ideas and their beliefs
well, their beliefs 100%, but like you can't just everything they did we need to get rid of. It's like, well, no, hold on. Let's take that highway system.
We can use it for good.
Yeah, we need to put it in our, that's what I'm saying. We can use some of their crazy fucking ideas, even though all of their ideas was like to kill millions of people. You're like, well, that was a good idea, but let's just use that, but not kill people. Can we do that? So like, that's what I'm like, extreme ideas always have these little nuggets, I think, even
Well, they do, they do say that God can turn a really horrible situation into a good one. For instance, if a woman gets raped, that's horrible. She gets pregnant. There are so many cases where that woman has that child and is happier. Her whole life has changed and completely happy. Now, obviously, I don't know.
I've never met someone who's been raped, had the baby,
no,
and
you can look into it. You can look.
I don't know. I'm sure there are. There's people that fall in love with penguins.
Does not lie in the child. If a woman is raped, it's obviously terrible. But the fault is not the child.
No, it's not the child's fault. It's not the child's fault. But then how could you look at that kid without thinking of that dude? You know what I mean? That instance. Well, of course, like that would be a mental hurdle.
Well,
of
course it would. Look, but
and if someone can't do that,
there's a lot of there's people overcome worse.
Yeah, well, the rape is pretty bad.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I understand.
That's up there.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done. And like my whole thing, close obviously, but my whole thing is this abortion thing is being thrown around like it's like, oh, hey, you want to go to the grocery store today? Yeah, or you don't want to buy meat? Okay.
That I have a problem with too.
I'm like, no, this is.
But the reaction to that shouldn't be make it all illegal.
Well, no, that's why it's not all illegal. That's why the gray areas with Texas. That's why they're like, okay, we understand, we get that.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like 2 months if you want to get rid of a kid. If it's 3 months, I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure at 2 months they're going to be like, no, fuck no.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering like certain states that you can do whatever. So I'm just wondering where I don't even know where the line is. So I'm not even educated enough to even really speak about it. But I don't, like I said, I don't know the development of the kid or whatever. But I think you should always have that option to a certain point. And then after a certain point, we're like, well, this far, have the kid if it's not detrimental to your health, and then there has to be a certain cutoff point, right? I would imagine if you're for the two options.
But see that right there, that for you, that is the morality aspect. Because if there's no morality in it, then you can abort the child whenever.
Yeah. If you have the no morality thing, yeah, I agree with that part. But it's just a weird thing, and then it's also not me getting pregnant. So to me, I don't care.
That's another reason when it comes to this kind of stuff. That's why I really do feel like we need to have something that's higher than us. What the ultimate say. You understand what I'm saying? Because humans, we go around like you said, this is going to be a problem for years and years between humans. We're always going to have this gray area when it comes to abortion. Is it good? Is it bad? Obviously, abortion's not good. But we have people who are talking, yeah, it's fine. We're going to make shows of people bragging about it. What? What?
It is weird. It is weird. Go to work.
All right.
Go to work. Everyone, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next week.
That was I like that one.
Oh, did you?
I remember